Woot! Happy anniversary!
Happy anniversary. That's it.
We got past the terrible twos.
Terrible twos done. Third year has begun. Woo! I don't have a happy anniversary hat, but
It's still a birthday.
it's a birthday, kind
of Fanimated. It's the birth.
It's the birth. Half the time I want to say that it's the birthday, and it's kind of, but
you know what? Whenever I go to an interview, I call it an audition. So whatever.
I have done that so many times. No. My poor brother, okay, he's like the only child that did sports. And so I would ask him so many times after his like practice for whatever sport he was in at that time. I'd be like, how was rehearsal? And I'm like, oh, sorry. It was baseball practice, but it's rehearsal, right? That's it.
I mean, they have warm-ups. They have running around and people in black. It's fine.
Well, I see Nathan is here, so welcome. Woo! And to anyone else who's watching.
And anyone else. Woo!
Yay! We're just here to
we're here.
Nerds, and I'm loving it already. So
I think that's what you said about 2 years ago.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Who are the umps of theater?
Who are the
that's
the
a good
director?
The director? Yeah.
No, maybe
is the referee director referee?
The techies? No, because I think the director is the coach.
Oh yeah,
because they give you notes afterwards and keep you way longer than they should giving you notes afterwards.
Yes.
Maybe the techies are the umps saying like, get to your spot, don't touch that prop.
Yes, I would agree.
Ow! Don't you dare touch that prop again, or I will take your hand.
Yeah. Okay. I like it. I'll go with that. We'll roll with it. Creating our. Could you imagine though, just like a whole baseball team made up of theater people?
Oh God. Yes.
I can't. Brilliant. I love it so much, and I need the sitcom based off of this.
I mean, there's Glee.
But are they a baseball team?
No. But there's Glee. I don't know. I'm fine without it personally, but like I'm sure there's money in it somewhere. Going into mostly.
Yeah. Do you mean sports anime? LOL, that's true. It's just a bunch of theater people in sports anime.
Actually though, like okay, but all of the fights would be bomb. That's the thing. Like, because theater people, as long as they've been trained, can do bomb fights. I do stage combat, so I'm certified in unarmed and small swords. So like, put me in, coach, because that would be a lot of fun. Because sports animes, it always comes to blows, you know? Like, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Oh dear. Okay, so why are we here?
Are we doing something or just chatting? Because I'm cool with both.
Mostly chatting. But I'll give you a brief little rundown of what's happening here. Congratulations, everyone. We've made it to 2 years of Fanimated. I cannot believe it. And what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna be chatting with all the different frequent guests, co-hosts that I have on the show. They've all been on at least like 5 times or more in the past, 2 years, I guess. And 2 years. Yep, that's it. And it just kind of like a get to know us, because not everyone listens to every episode and hears everyone's voices and knows what's up or who's who or all that. And so it's kind of fun to, even for the other guests on the show have told me that they don't know who the other people are.
Actually,
so this is a good way to be like, this is the face to the voice that we hear in our ears every Tuesday. So, so yeah, but before we get to all of Bryn's wonderful things, like, I just want to say, like, wow, we made it to 2 years. This past year for Fanimated, I'm trying to think of things that we've done since last September. We're on YouTube. Obviously, that's where you're watching this right now.
Did some live stuff.
Yeah, we've done lots of live streams, watching stuff, live streams. So definitely subscribe if you want to be notified on that. I'm still working. I was really hoping that by the end of the month here, I would have all the episodes uploaded to YouTube, but I'm about halfway there.
You're working hard, and
thanks.
It's a pandemic, so like,
pandemic.
Just saying.
Do what I can. Thank you. So I'm working through getting everything onto YouTube because I'd love to be able to actually release the episodes on YouTube the same day they come out and get caught up. So we'll get there. And yeah, I'm looking at our list of episodes, and we've done so many more in the last year than we did the year before.
Yeah.
I don't have the numbers. I did not actually count them all out.
But
lots more episodes this past year, which is great. And because we talked about this during the 50th episode, Emma and we talked about Avatar: The Last Airbender, and we were talking about just like some stats of the show, and it's one of them, which I always think is fascinating, is like where people are listening from. In the top cities, and that has changed drastically since the 50th episode.
Really?
It has. It's changed quite a bit. The top 5 have rotated and changed. So can you guess the top 5?
No.
No, you don't want to guess.
Pella?
No. Pella isn't even anywhere on my list.
St. Paul?
No, St. Paul got knocked out of the top 5.
Minneapolis?
Minneapolis is still number 1. Yep.
Ha! Take that. Yeah. Sydney.
I wish. Although
Toad Suck, Arkansas.
No. Although New Zealand is definitely, Australia and New Zealand actually are
nice.
on the top countries.
Thanks, guys.
So, thank you, all of y'all. So our top 5 are Minneapolis, number 1. Bremerton, Washington is number 2. Atlanta, Georgia, that's a new one, number 3.
Cool.
Columbus, Ohio, and then Chicago.
Chicago.
Woo. So anyone listening from there, bonus points to you.
Also, New Zealand and Australia, catch up. Like, you just gotta tell all your friends about it so that y'all can be on the top 5 and soon overtake Minneapolis.
I will say,
awesome, but
and I'm such a dumb American. I'm gonna look this up before I make a fool of myself. Yes, okay. I'm gonna pronounce this wrong too, but Auckland, New Zealand, that's a city. Auckland, Auckland. They're actually number 6 on my list of top cities.
New Zealand, you're almost there.
New Zealand, you are so close. Just tell all your friends to listen to every single episode, and then boom, you'll be there. You'll be in the top 5, and we'll talk about you next time.
And then maybe we can have, like, if New Zealand gets to the top 3 cities, maybe we give them their own poll for an episode or something.
I don't know. No promises. I'm making no promises on anything.
No, that's just me and my ideation brain. It's fine. Here, Kelly, how's the underside of that bus look?
Oh man. Okay, I'm going to take this off because now I'm done. It's great. You all got to see that. Okay. So Bryn, with the time I have left with you.
Yeah.
I wanted to just ask, give our listening and viewing audience a brief introduction of who you are.
Oh, well, I am a performer and teacher in the Twin Cities. I am a middle school art teacher right now, and I collect hobbies as a hobby. I do a lot of crafting. I do a lot of I do stage combat. I do skill toys like poi and juggling and things like that. That's kind of the little elevator speech snapshot. I am really interested in psychology as well, and people who are neurodivergent, as well as people who are in minorities. I have ADHD and depression, and there's another one. My ADHD is kicking up. Shoot. Anyways, I'm neurodivergent. Yes. So I'm really interested in how stories can help to tell truths that can't be told in other ways or might be harder to tell in other ways. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes stories will help give voice to somebody. Steven Universe, the whole reason which was our first episode, yes. The whole reason I love Steven Universe is because of the stories that it tells about different people in different situations. And so that's really close to my heart. So mm-hmm. when I watch anime or animated stuff, mm-hmm. movies, TV shows, I always look for that knowing, that knowledge, that truth speaking in it.
Absolutely. And Bryn, you're extra special to the podcast because I still remember in my old apartment chatting with you, like, oh yeah, if I was going to do a podcast, this is what it'd be about. And you were just like, go.
Enabler.
So thank you for helping me actually just pull the trigger and do it.
I'm so glad you did.
Thank James for his contribution, his donation of the mic that's gotten me through 2 years of podcasting. And so, yes, you obviously have a passion for stories and storytelling, and it's always a blast having you on the show.
It's so much fun being here with you.
What do you like about animation, like animation specifically, compared to other forms of storytelling, other forms of media?
I think that it's easier to give into suspension of disbelief, and there's more that you can bring to life in various ways. Be it there aren't limits. Like if you want somebody to be a 30-foot giant, if you want everybody in your world to be a 30-foot giant, you can do that. And it doesn't make a difference on post or pre or whatever. You don't need to spend a bunch of money on effects or anything. And also I super appreciate it being the first medium besides like verbal storytelling, like the first visual medium to be able to do outlandish stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Movies are catching up, but they're going overboard and they need to like draw it back a little bit with the FX, but back to practical, right? But it's in such a unique place in being able to do all of those things. You know?
Absolutely. I mean, that's why I love animation, is that it is completely limitless. Like the only limits are the imaginations of the people drawing.
Yeah, and we've seen that with Kipo, and we've seen it with like Into the Spider-Verse. Even now, they're still inventing different ways to do this animation, and there are still no limits. We're still inventing. It's so cool.
I mean, it'll never stop being something new as long as technology continues to progress. Humanity is like a general group consciousness. Like we're always trying to, and we always do, like one up, ourselves. Like I heard some stories and some statistic about like runners or something, like, you have like some sort of, top speed or top, like how fast can you run the mile? And then there's always someone who keeps pushing that and getting it further and further. Like,
and then all of a sudden everybody else is at that top that is no longer the top. Yeah. But even like even in terms of creativity and not just technicalities, like with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, they had the ability to slow, because the frame rates are different when it's in pre spider bite and post spider bite. Post spider bite, it's a slower frame rate, which is just fascinating, and it's so creative, and it has nothing to do with how far technologically we've come. It's a sheer creative move.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like that thing where you find out that like Beethoven or whoever like composed music with all of this like hidden like religious like ways of like using certain notes that are like what am I trying to say? Threes.
Chords. Trinity.
Yeah, like a three. Anyway.
We went to Bethel, it's fine.
I only had one semester of music theory. I don't remember anything. I took one semester of music theory and I was like, this is a foreign language I do not understand. And I was like, I'm out. To the theater. That's it. Oh man. But yeah, it's like using the tools you have to tell the story.
Yeah.
Not only, like below the surface, like using the actual tools. Anyway, I know what you're saying, and other people might know what we're saying.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe not. Who knows? Then, this is what we have to offer. But
I mean, take it or leave it, and leave it, close the window, but don't do that.
But yes, I would agree. Like, people are always thinking of new ways to use animation to tell a story, and it's really, really great.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So in the past year, since we, since last September 23rd, what's
you mean 50 years ago?
50 years ago, right? Yeah, basically. What has been one of your favorite either animated TV shows that you've watched or movies? It doesn't have to have come out in the past year, but something that you experienced for the first time.
Honestly, Nausicaa still sticks out to me in our conversation around it, because we hit on so many different relevant topics on it. I live in Minneapolis, a block and a half away from the 5th precinct, and watching Nausicaa with the militia that they brought in, and with the way that they were saying, "Oh, we're here for peace," was just striking. And I saw it with new eyes, and even having the conversation with you about like privilege and what that means and everything. I think about it a lot, and what we talk, our conversation over that film and Mononoke are both very relevant right now, and our conversations are just in there.
Yeah.
How about you?
I made these questions for you guys, and I don't know how much I thought about them for myself. Oh, okay.
Just ask me another question. That's fine.
Well, I think one that like sticks out is one of the only movies I actually have gotten to see in theater so far this year. That's Weathering with You. I haven't Weathering with You.
Seen that one yet.
It's so good. Okay. It's like Your Name is still peak. Like that's better. But Weathering with You still has that same vibe, and it's like, man, it just my heart. It's so good. And honestly, I cannot wait. I'm holding off. I'm not watching it yet because I haven't even bought the DVD, because I know as soon as I buy the DVD, I'm going to want to watch it. Emma is visiting me next week, and I'm saving it to watch it with her again, but I'm so excited to rewatch it because like I need to, what happens at the end, I'm not going to spoil, but like, I am just like, I have never seen something. I don't even know if I can like talk about it without spoiling, but basically like I've never seen anything take such a positive approach to like the apocalypse.
Oh,
and now I'm like, after it's 2020 and things have happened since I've seen that, and I'm like, I need to watch this again. I need to like see this with the 2020 lens.
Oh, now I don't know if I want to watch it, but I do, but I don't. Oh!
Listen, it's really good. It's really good.
All right, I'll have to find it somewhere and watch.
Yes. Okay. Bryn, I'm gonna leave you on. I'm gonna add Nathan. Nathan is here.
Hi, Nathan.
Hey, look.
Hey!
It's a little tiny me.
How are you?
I'm doing all right. How's everyone doing?
First time I've like talked to you face to screen.
Yeah. This is a good thing, right? To meet everybody.
The miracle of technology.
That is the hope, is that we get to actually like talk to each other, kind of, because this doesn't ever happen.
Yeah, it's usually just the trio of us chilling in a Netflix party, me and chat, trying to be goofy on a 2-minute delay.
See, here's what we got to do next time, Nathan. Next time is Kipo and the Age of Wonder Beast season 3.
Yes.
And you should just join us in the stream like this.
Sure.
And then we'll watch it.
All right.
I can't wait. Nathan, have you seen Kipo yet?
Yes. It was on a What You Watch, and I was the first one to bring it up on the podcast, I think. Because
Yeah.
Kelly wouldn't watch season 2, and it was so good.
You're right. It's my fault. I didn't watch season 2. I don't know why.
We're gonna have to watch it together. Nathan, one of the things that we said in the episode was that Kipo doesn't change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what was the name of that? My Hero Academia.
Kipo is a paragon. It's a paragon archetype.
A paragon. Yes, because we had talked about that during the My Hero Academia episode, and I could not remember the name. Yeah, man, I need a vocab list or something.
I usually call it the chosen one because.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I like your fancy words.
Well, yeah. Well, technically, they're two different ideas, really, because the chosen one is just like a special someone who then is the one that is supposed to save the day, right? Mm-hmm. And they can take many, many different forms. But the paragon is the like moral driving force of the archetype. And so that doesn't have to be the chosen one. It very often is, but it doesn't have to be. And so it's always interesting.
Yeah.
So if somebody is the chosen one, but doesn't have as strong a moral like drive as Kipo, would they still be a paragon?
No, like Harry Potter is the chosen one, right? But Harry Potter is not like a paragon. Like he's a bumbling idiot. Like
really? Seriously. Gosh, it feels really good to agree with that right now.
Yep.
Yep. But now we all know what the word paragon is. Use that in a sentence today.
I caught a paragon yesterday. I evolved it with several cannons.
Are you thinking of Bagon, who evolves into Shelgon, who evolves into Salamence?
I'm going to leave the podcast now. And now it's the Pokemon podcast with Bryn and Nathan.
So this is what you have to look forward to for Kipo season 3.
Yes. So everyone join us. It's October 13th or 12th.
Yeah, and I'll introduce you to my fish Kipo.
Yes, the fish.
Literally annoyed her sister Wolf to death.
It's true.
Oh yeah, no, that was edited out, wasn't it?
That'll be in the bonus episodes. All of you patrons over at patreon.com/Fanimated, you'll get to listen to a bonus episode later this week where I edited out quite a bit of Brendan and my conversation. You'll get to hear all the backstory stuff. It's great. It's so funny. Yeah. So there you go. Well, Bryn, thanks for being here. Thanks for joining. I'm going to put Nathan in the hot seat and ask him lots of questions. So,
all right. I got my notes.
All right.
I got so much room now.
Oh yeah, let's just You can really feel it, can't you?
Yes.
Oh man, that's great. Okay, well, Nathan, you informed me yesterday, and I hadn't realized that you have only been on the podcast for a year, basically.
Yeah, I really didn't jump in on it on that first year. I didn't think I really had like anything to talk about. And so now I've been watching nothing but anime for an entire year and can be on the podcast all the time.
I've converted you. I feel like that's most of my friends. I've just converted them into anime fans. Woo! But our first episode was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Yeah.
Yep.
It was just, there it is. Still one of the best movies of recent history, in my opinion. So since then, like, I'm going to jump around a little bit. Unless you'd like to introduce yourself first. Maybe we should start with that. That's
sure. I just kind of jumped in and burst into the Bryn and Kelly show, but yeah.
No, but that was awesome.
Hi, everyone.
That trio.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Nathan. I am 27. I graduated from the U of M as a computer science major, so I'm kind of a nerdy front, not part of this theater crew that Kelly usually hangs with. I'm a software engineer at Target. So I write code all day. Well, I write code from here all day since we haven't been in the office in 6 months and aren't planning to go back for 6 months. So this is the new normal. I love playing video games, riding my bike, watching anime now. That's pretty much all I've been doing. So
yes. And would it be fair to say that like Pokemon games are your favorite video games, or do you have like a favorite video game that's like outside of Pokemon?
Pokemon are great. I've played like every Pokemon game. Like I buy the new Nintendo consoles just to play Pokemon games.
I mean, that's basically me with Zelda, so I get it.
Right, yeah. Yeah, you didn't buy a Nintendo 3DS though just to play Pokemon.
No, I did not.
I have one DS game and it's Pokemon Sun.
I'm so happy about that.
But yeah, I have a PC that I built because I'm a computer nerd. And so I play a bunch of PC games. I used to play a bunch of like online games with my friends in college, but we don't really do that as much anymore. I play like a decent amount of like first person shooters and stuff.
Yeah.
Like narrative-driven first-person shooters. I don't like the giant Fortnite multiplayer garbage that's going around, but
all right.
Yeah, you get some really like interesting and creative storytelling in some of those. So
awesome. I really, now that I've got you into anime, I really need you to watch, and this is going to be weird coming from me. I need you to watch Sword Art Online.
Yeah, I've already seen it. Certainly seen the first season.
Have?
Yeah.
You only watched the first season though.
I watched probably the first two. Whatever happened before they started like branching out to everything.
I don't know. Like that's the whole show. They branch out to everything.
Okay, I watched the first one where they were trapped in a video game, and then I watched.
Well, that's literally every single season.
No. There was one season where there were elves and they weren't trapped in a video game. And I think that's the last season I watched.
Okay, well, that's all kind of part of the first season. Anyway, it's still coming out. And like, there's another one that's just been announced. I don't know what's happening. Yeah. But what are your thoughts on Sword Art Online? I know we're getting off track, but like, genuinely, as a person who plays a lot of video games and also someone who's like understands a little bit more of like the technical side of it, like... What are your thoughts on Sword Art Online?
Oh, I want it to be real. I don't want to get trapped in it, but I want it to be real. If that makes any sense. Like
it would be a fun game to play.
It would be an amazing game to play. Like just the idea. I'm actually watching like a different isekai right now that's off of video games, but like the fact that they can just like go up and interact with anything is amazing. Like they create like really creative problem solvings in like those shows that you cannot do in regular video games. Like regular video games, like you have to have like interactable objects and things, and everything has to be like hit A repeatedly till you win the game. And like they're just like, oh, I'm gonna like, jump off this dude's shield and then bash this monster. And you're like, you can do that? This is amazing.
Yeah.
So if anything,
Okay.
I'm jealous of them.
That they get to play this game,
Yeah.
even if it's life or death. All right.
Yeah, see, that's not fun. But like, if it's a game,
It's a game. It's great.
yeah.
Yes. That's interesting. That's good. Good to hear. Yeah, I'm always just like, it's one of those shows that like and someday because I've been thinking about possibly actually doing an episode on it because it's like one of those shows I was really into because it was one of my first anime, and then I got to the end of the basically the elf part, and I was just like, what is that? There were so many things that just made it like it started off way up here and then it just kept getting lower and lower.
Yeah, it's not exactly a show that progresses anywhere when you start with life or death.
Yeah, it's like the stakes were high and up there, and then like it was like people are dying, but then they didn't actually kill anybody you cared about ever.
Whoa, it's an anime.
Well, all right. Well, anyway, regardless, sort of online. Other than that, and Pokemon, etc. What if you could choose one movie or TV show, animated TV show or movie or anything? What would be your favorite? Or would it be Pokemon? Am I answering that question for you?
No, well, if we go on to like actual like television or movies, like it's already been mentioned a bunch of times, what Into the Spider-Verse, like the first episode we did together was like, I can talk about this movie because it's absolutely amazing. It's fundamentally like new ground for everything animation. Like that's one of like our best episodes, I think, in my opinion. But like the amount of depth and character that goes into that movie, beyond the fact that I just absolutely adore everything Marvel.
Yeah.
Like, it's fantastic.
Awesome. Yeah, I would agree. It's still, yeah, just one of the best movies ever. That's it.
Yeah.
What is it, if you have thought about it or have an answer to this, like what is it about animation that you like a lot? Compared to other medias.
See, the thing is, like, I don't really love animation like everyone else on the podcast, and that's kind of why I stayed away for a full year, because like animation was never just like off the table. It was just like another form of entertainment to me. Like I still love my giant SFX like superhero movies. Like I want to go see every single one of those in the theater. I love watching like buddy cop TV shows and sitcoms, and I regularly watch those still. It's just animation was always just something that when other people would say, oh, it's childish, I'd just be like, I don't really care. Like, I'm going to watch Steven Universe. I'm a 20-year-old kid in college. Like, this show is the best thing ever. And so, like, but I never had anyone to talk to it with. I would just be like, this is amazing, but it's mine. It's all mine. No one else.
Oh, man.
No. But then I guess, I don't know, just being on this podcast and you asking me to like watch things like Attack on Titan that I wouldn't have watched otherwise, it's just now it's a more forward thought in my brain of like, and I don't want to scroll Netflix endlessly. Let me go figure out something that's on Crunchyroll or create a list of all these other things or what new anime is coming out. And I'm just losing my mind over all of these new animes that you know a lot about that I keep saying, Kelly, you got to watch this. Kelly, you got to watch this. Kelly, you got to watch this.
Yes. And now instead of me telling you to watch everything, you're telling me, and it's great. Yep. Complete role reversal.
Yep.
And I have watched the first 2 episodes of The God of High School.
It's so oh my God.
It's so chaotic. We were talking about this last night. And I was mentioning, and I'll say it again, like, it's so much more humorous than I thought it was going to be. Like, it's very comedic, and I was expecting it to be a very serious, like, tournament arc, like, fighting battles. But it's like they make fun of themselves the whole time. It's brilliant.
Everyone is super overpowered, and everyone doesn't fully grasp that they're overpowered.
Wow.
They're like, oh, I must become stronger. And I'm like, dude, you just outbiked a fully like a car. Like you are biking faster than like motorized vehicles. You don't need to become stronger.
No, you're fine. You're good.
You just jumped into the air 300 feet and karate chopped this man in half. Like you don't have to get stronger.
You're good. Yes.
But yeah, that show is absolutely chaotic. I encourage anyone who has ever watched any show and been like, wow, that was a great fight scene, to watch this show, because you will just be blown away. God of High School is not about God. It's not even about high school kids at this point.
No. Why is it called this?
I have no idea. It's endlessly chaotic. There's like, I don't want to spoil anything though, because it's just so weird and you have to experience it for yourself, and like get past the 4th episode, because the 4th episode's really weird, and keep going. But it's a wonderful trio of characters that really like grow to love each other, even though they are like trying to beat each other into a pulp at times, and they're all just so wonderful. And then there's like this whole like secret society that's running everything, that has all of the secret powers and trying to, you know, stop the big disaster.
Big disaster.
Can't spoil everything.
All right.
Y'all need to catch up.
I gotta catch up. Speaking of, and this is going to come out on Friday, the What You Watchin', where I talk about Tower of God. But since you're the one who recommended it to me,
yes.
Tower of God is insane, and I love it so much.
Yeah. I recommended Tower of God to you before the full season was done, and the whole season takes a very weird turn in the last couple episodes that kind of turns me off from it.
Really?
I don't like the betrayal. I don't like it. I don't really know where they're going to go from here, and wherever they do go from here, I don't know if I'll like it.
Interesting. I personally, I like it even more. I'm like, I knew she was up to no good. Sorry, don't not spoil anything. I was just like, this character, I do not trust this character. What is going on? What is this?
You didn't trust her?
No.
Oh, come on.
I was like, I'm manipulating this poor kid, and just like, I was concerned from the get-go that the only thing this kid cared about was one thing, and I was like, okay, there's something wrong with this relationship. And no, no, I was just like, that character is acting all suspicious, and like the whole time I'm just like, just let Bomb be happy and with his friends. Anyway, so I was just like, this is going to be great. I think the following episodes, following seasons, I'm excited because I just love the tension of like we know and Bomb knows, but no one else knows.
Oh, that? Yeah. that may be interesting.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? I enjoyed Bomb's naivety as like a storytelling device, though. And that's what really intrigued me about the whole thing.
Okay.
Is that you never learned anything that Bomb didn't learn. Like there was no like exposition or like side. You got a couple side plots eventually, but for the first couple episodes, like you really have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Because the main character has no idea what's going on, and that's what was really interesting to me about that, especially as an isekai where you like they travel to some magical world and there isn't like a little tutorial gnome at the beginning. This is the Sword Art Online. Like there's no like, going on.
Right.
Like the little
no explanation.
Nothing. And so that's what fascinated me so much about that show. And then I really love Blue Turtle Kun.
Kun is my favorite character in the whole show.
He's so devious.
He's so great. He's just like mischievous. He is the mastermind behind everything. I love him. I love everything about him. His character is fantastic.
He is so good. And so I'll stick with it maybe for Kuhn, because Kuhn will find out.
Yeah.
Kuhn is going to see through everything.
I mean, Kuhn from the beginning was like this poor naive kid. I've got to keep an eye on him. And like, you know, Kuhn's been through some crap too. So I feel like he can like, if anyone should be able to figure it out, it should be Kuhn, you know, because
been through betrayal. Yeah.
He's been through that kind of thing. But man, I'm looking forward to finding out more about the tower and more about this plan for Bomb. It's just like now Bomb is completely 180. Like he's like, no, he was like, I want to just be with my friends and be with everybody. And now he's like, I don't even want help from you, like anybody. Like I'm going to figure this out and I'm going to figure it out on my own. And I'm like, oh, yes. Anyway, it's going to be great. So thank you for recommending that to me. And this has been the Tower of God podcast.
Oh, yep. Here we go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
But to get back on track, kind of, not that there is any track that needs to be stayed on for this live stream. It's just chill. And Emma is our next guest. And actually she is not here. She had an unfortunate call into work. So she sent me a video though. So we'll watch that in a bit, but we do have some extra time. So,
okay, cool.
Yeah. So, another question for you is the question of what in the past year have you watched or a video game you've played or anything that sticks out to you as, you know, one of your favorites besides Tower of God, obviously.
Tower of God.
Maybe not your favorite, just kind of there.
Yeah. It was Tower of God was a great experiment. Let's say that.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes very exciting, even if it is not good. Like, here's the thing with Tower of God and God of High School. Like, I want you to watch it because of how crazy they are.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go on record to say either of them are good.
That's fair. That's totally fair. I mean, and the thing about Tower of God and God of High School is that, if anything, they are changing the anime game because
they are.
They're based off of webtoons from
Korea. They're not Japanese.
And it's like, you know, produced by Crunchyroll. And it's like completely like what even is anime anymore? Nobody knows. That's the question for the ages. But it's very cool.
But from this past year of what animation-esque thing, and I know we've been just kind of repeating topics, but getting to play Pokemon on a TV that was huge.
Yes. I
think I kind of got this emotion across in the podcast, even though that podcast that we did was incredibly chaotic. So like the game came out like on a Thursday or a Friday or something, like all video games come out, and my pre-order was coming in the mail and it wasn't showing up on the right day. I wanted to play it right away, and I was texting everyone. I was like, I'm gonna get this game. I couldn't wait at all. And so I went to Target and bought it before my copy got delivered. And I am Saturday morning, like went to Target, got it, brought it home like Christmas Day, unwrapped it, plugged it in on my Switch. I'm sitting on a couch cushion sat right in front of my TV, getting to pick my fire starter and go around this amazing 3D world. And my little Score Bunny is just hopping back and forth as he's about to fight. And I'm like just humming along and so enthralled. And I was just so happy in that moment of getting to play Pokemon finally on something that like wasn't a handheld and had amazing 3D graphics. And like I think I played all the way to the first gym, which was like, I don't know, maybe an hour, 2 hours of gameplay. And I was like, this is amazing. Like, I'm not even to the first gym yet. Everything is here. The first instance that I walked into the wild area, and you're walking in, and then you look to your left and a giant Onyx just appears out of nowhere, and it scared me so bad. And then I instantly went up and tried to catch it and got beat because all I have is my fire starter versus a rock type. Yeah, it didn't turn out.
Didn't go well, huh? With your like level 3.
I think they were like 8, but he was like level 20 or something. I was like, I'm not prepared for this. But yeah, that game is just absolutely amazing. I'm almost reaching 300 hours on it right now because I've been just doing shiny hatching, and so I have a full party of 10 shiny Pokemon at this point and completed all my Pokédex, and the next DLC is coming out in November and I can't wait. And
there we go.
Yeah, that little moment of getting to play Pokemon like I was a little kid was fantastic.
Such joy. I love that. That's a great answer, truly. And yeah, I feel like we've definitely talked about what we've been watching recently. Although, I mean, what are you watching like right now? Because you've already watched, all the other stuff you're talking about.
God of High School came out on Monday. Misfit Demon King came out on Saturday.
Misfit of Demon King Academy. So
the newest new, and this is like one of those sort of kind of embarrassing animes of, it's an isekai about 2 girls that are sort of like in this MMO world, and one of the girls was scared about getting hurt, so she took all of her stats and put it in defense, and it's called Bofario. I put all of my stats in defense so I wouldn't take any damage.
I've heard of this show. Oh my goodness, tell me all about it.
It's the most pure-hearted, feel-good anime to ever exist. It is entirely fluff. It is so silly as like a video game kid that this sort of naive little girl joins this VR MMO and just dumps everything into defense. And so like she can't run because she has no agility. She has no health. She's just messing up absolutely everything, but it's working out flawlessly. It's absolutely amazing.
Brilliant.
Like she goes to her first little like battle with like the bugs in like Viridian Forest or whatever the little like first level is, and she's like running away from these bees, and then they finally catch her, and then she goes, "Oh, that didn't hurt at all." And then she's just sitting there just taking damage the entire time.
And it's totally fine.
It's totally fine. And then she's just like frolicking through this monster infested forest.
She can't be touched.
Can't get damaged at all. And so she's like acquiring all these skills as well. And so it's just like total defense, all these defense powers. She's getting like poison immunity because she just like kept getting poisoned over and over and then just kept healing herself. But she can't do like any damage to anybody.
She can't hurt anybody, but they can't hurt her.
And so like her first, like she goes into like a dungeon by herself because these people were like, "Oh, you should go like do this dungeon." And they're like, "Oh, she doesn't go alone. That's a hard dungeon." And she goes alone because she doesn't know any better. And like she like can't do any damage to this like poison dragon, and then but the poison like damage that can't do anything damage to her either. So they're just like chilling, and so she like starts biting the dragon because that's her only attack. And so she defeats the dragon by eating it. And then she gains the dragon's powers because she ate the dragon. And so now she's like level 8, can't get hurt by anything, has full poison immunity, and has like the dragonborn spirit inside of her.
Oh my gosh, though, that's my favorite combination of like incredibly OP and a complete dick.
It's so silly and so goofy, and it's on Funimation, and you can check it out if you need just like a goofy laugh. And like,
yes,
like the next arc is like she enters like the first tournament of this MMO and gets 3rd place because no one can beat her. And all of like, and like at the end, it always shows like a chat room of like people that play the game or like the admins or whatnot, and they're just like, "Who is this girl? Like, does this admins know about this? She's completely busted. What is her stats?" And they're like, "Her stats are 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 364 defense."
Oh my gosh. It's just a situation, like just situational comedy of like, these are the facts.
Yeah.
Let's just do.
And everything is like super like chibi and kawaii and all of like the very like cutesy anime like little girl things, but it's just so silly.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, well, I need something to watch now that Fruits Basket is done with this season.
Well, this is not gonna make you cry. It's gonna just make you laugh at how
Yeah.
goofy it is.
Yes, because the Fruits Basket, guys, it's emotional.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't watch it. Emma's not here.
I know Emma's not here to talk about Fruits Basket, but she's behind. She's loyal to the dubs, and so she will only watch it with the dubs. And because of COVID, like usually it would have come out the same, but COVID pushed the English voice actor stuff back. So she's like 10 episodes behind, and I just finished the season. And 2 major things are revealed at the end of the season, and she doesn't know about them. Oh man. Yeah, it's great. It's one of our favorite shows, and I am excited that we get season 3, right away again in the spring. But I'll be extra sad when that's over.
Uh-huh.
Speaking of new seasons, Attack on Titan season 4 is coming in December.
That's soon. Oh boy.
And here I was thinking it wouldn't be till next year, and ta-da!
All right.
This is gonna be insane.
The wars, right?
I don't think I'm ready.
So nervous about it.
Especially Nathan, like we were just saying, you've been watching some fun like fluffy anime.
No, I exclusively fluffy anime. Like I tried to watch one like serious show on Netflix, Young Wallander. It's like a Swedish cop show, and it was like okay because it was like in Europe, and I was like, that's far enough away for me. It was still just like really heavy and dark, and luckily it was only 6 episodes.
Totally fair. Totally fair.
And then I went right back to
I have so much defense, nothing can hurt me.
Yep.
Or let's have a whole shonen battle anime about food, or let's play volleyball.
Oh, I watched season 3 of Haiku because didn't want to watch them lose, and it was an entire 10 episode season about one volleyball game.
The whole
game took 10 episodes, and that was their entire 3rd season.
Oh my gosh, that's brilliant. I love that so much. Oh man. I still need to get caught up, but
it was amazing.
Oh, it sounds amazing.
So amazing.
Hinata.
Oh, they're just such perfect little protagonists.
So good, truly.
And Tsukishima, like the angsty glasses, just full story arc through the whole thing. Great, just absolutely amazing. Just like he was the star of the 3rd season, and it was amazing to watch him like actually grow and not be angsty, annoying man who's 6'2".
And won't talk to anybody.
And won't talk to anybody except the green-haired kid.
Right.
Asa? No, that's a different character.
That other one.
They're really hard to keep apart. I always get Tsukishima and Sugawara mixed up because they both call them Suki and Suga. Tell who they're talking
about. Who knows? Oh man. Well, just lots of good. There a good thing. There's lots of fluffy anime out there for you right now, and if you need any other suggestions, let me know. No, although a lot of my suggestions would be fluffy shoujo anime. I don't know how much you'd care.
I'm finding fluffy shonen anime, so I don't know if that's a rarer sort than others, but
I think there's good, fluffy, like slice of life stuff in both genres. So it's good. It's good. All right. Well, thank you, Nathan, for joining me, and thanks for being such a big part of Fanimated.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Talk to you again soon.
All right. Bye, everyone.
All right. So, like I said, Emma is not here. But before we get to Jamie, I do have a video from Emma that she wanted me to share with you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and play that. And she really, really, really wishes she could be here, but she cannot. So let's go ahead and see if I can do technology.
Hello, Fanimators. Great to see you. I actually can't see you, but you know, you get the gesture. My name is Emma. I'm one of the co-hosts on Fanimated. I love being a part of the podcast. It is so much fun. So a little bit about me. By the way, I'm so sorry I can't actually be there for the live stream. Something came up and, you know, sometimes life happens, so you just got to roll with it. But I'm happy to be sending a little note anyway. So anyway, a little bit about me. I am currently a nanny, though I used to be, beside when the whole pandemic wasn't happening, I was a freelance teaching artist. So I'd choreograph and direct for different theater programs at different schools. Absolutely loved it. I'm really sad and really missing it right now, all of my students and performing and everything. But it's okay. One day we'll all get back to normal, I hope. So when I'm not nannying, I am a grad student, so I'm going to school to be a teacher. I'll be doing my student teaching this spring, and so by next fall, I'll be a teacher, and that'll be teaching hopefully theater, but also like the English arts department. So yeah, it's been a ride, but I'm excited for it, and it's been a good experience so far. As far as my favorite animated media, oh, that's really hard because I love all things animation, but I really love anime as a whole. Like, I was introduced to it my freshman year of college, and the only experience I had with it was watching Pokemon growing up. I didn't even know that was anime at the time. So, but anime has just been such a fun experience because it's so artistic, but also just so normal, but also imaginative and fantastical. It can be so many different things, but the art of anime just makes it all full circle and beautiful. I really love animation in particular because it really makes the imagination come to life, things that we can't always picture in a real life scenario. You can sometimes create with this art of anime, especially in a lot of like the fantastical anime shows. But I really love animation because it's kind of like how when there's that quote about when you put your thoughts and words to a melody, that's what music is. And in the same way, I feel like animation is like another form of expressing our heart and our thoughts and our ideas, and just in a different medium. And I think that's really beautiful. My favorite animated media that I've experienced this year would probably be Zelda Breath of the Wild. I play video games, but I'm not like a hardcore gamer. And this was a game that I really fell in love with because it's absolutely gorgeous to like look at everything that the creators made. And I don't know, it's just breathtaking. Breath of the Wild is breathtaking. So I really enjoy getting to play that and compare my gaming style to Miss Kelly Anderson. So it was a fun time. We had a lot of good memories from that. I mentioned that anime is my favorite type of animation, and I would say out of all the anime, right now, my top two favorites are Fruits Basket for the slice of life in my heart, and then Fairy Tale for Shonen because it's just so fun. So lastly, I want to wrap up by sharing what I've been watching. A lot of you already know because of the podcast, but I've been watching Inuyasha, Haikyuu, March Comes in Like a Lion. Those are the main ones, and then Fruits Basket. So I'm also playing the video game Fire Emblem Three Houses. I had to start over because I killed my whole class. It's fine, but those are all the things that I've been watching / playing. It's been a great time, and yeah, that's about it. So once again, I'm sorry I can't be there in person, but it's great to be a part of this podcast. I love talking about animation and geeking out and being your captain. It is my favorite. So yes, all the ships. Great to see you guys and hope you have a good rest of your day. See ya.
All right, there we go. There's a little piece of Emma, even though she can't be here. She was really, really bummed about not being able to join us for the celebration. So, Emma, thanks for sending that to me, and thanks for introducing yourself. And hopefully now people, kind of have a face to add to the name. And of course, I cannot wait for Emma to get to the end of the Fruits Basket season so I can geek out about it with her. So next on our list, because we'll keep on rolling, we have the one, the only, the Jamie Krause. Here we go.
Oh, there I am. Oh my goodness.
Hello.
I'm here. I'm in.
You're in.
Hi.
This is it. Jamie, how
cool.
are you?
I'm doing really well. Thank you for asking. I'm going to apologize that my setup is so haphazard. This is a super dark room. We don't have like a built-in lighting in this room, so I just have a bunch of lamps, which makes this room not very dark and awkward all the time.
That's totally fine.
Oh,
totally
yeah,
great.
yeah.
Oh man. So first off, thank you for being on the podcast.
Yeah, of course.
Frequently. I think you were on the second episode, which was Big Hero 6.
I think so. Yeah.
Second episode. So you've been here since the beginning.
Yeah.
I remember in college, geeking out about Steven Universe and Gravity Falls.
Yeah. For sure, those two, definitely.
Oh man!
And then eventually, you kind of pulled me into Full Metal Alchemist a little bit, so we could keep talking about that too. There's probably others, but I can't think of them right now.
So many. There's so many good ones out there. So for those who don't know, can you introduce who you are and what you're up to in life?
I would love to. My name is Jamie. He, him. I've basically pretty much the most important thing about what I'm doing, what I do, and the most interesting thing for sure is Knight's Quest. So I'm gonna do a pitch. That is a podcast that I work on with two of my good friends, Jake and Nathan. It's like a comedy role-playing podcast, so it's not exactly D&D, but it's sort of similar. The big hook about it, at least in my opinion, is that so much of it is improvised. Not 100%, because as the story has gotten more and more has progressed and moved along, there are a few things that Nathan for sure has to plan ahead of time, but most of it is completely made up on the spot. Me and Jake and Nathan have all surprised each other constantly. It's a big, crazy fantasy world. It's very comedic because both of those guys are geniuses, and I'm constantly trying to get my laughter under control so I can actually, help with the podcast. I'm trying to. I had a bunch of stuff prepared. There's adult language, so you want to be careful about that if that's something if that's an important element to you. It's a big focus on fantasy, so if that's something you're excited about, we have that in abundance for sure.
Oh, it's so good. It's so imaginative, the world that you created.
Yeah. I thank you. Oh my goodness. We just finished up our big second season. It was a huge season finale and everything. So we're taking a short break right now. There will be more episodes coming. We're not like stopping episodes, but they're going to be smaller bonus episodes for now. And then we're going to get started on season 3, which we're stoked about. So yeah, it's under the name Knight's Quest, the Knight with a K in front of it, you know. It's on every stream. It's on not streaming. It's on every podcasting platform I can think of. So iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, all those. Yeah, definitely check it out if that's something that you think you'd be interested in. Thank you for listening to my long rambling pitch. You're all the best, and I love you. Okay, done. Yep, got it.
Yes, I'm glad you said that because I was going to bring it up either way. Because because I love Knight's Quest.
Oh man, yeah,
funny. It's so exciting. I always am so pumped when a new episode is out. And not only JV are you on it, but also listeners of Fanimated will hear and recognize.
They've been on Fanimated. Oh, that's right. Jake has done probably more than me. He's done a bunch on here, I think.
He's done. This year at least we did ReZero, and at some point we talked about the Prince of Egypt and Samurai Jack. Those are the ones Jake's done. Yeah. So. I still think you've done more than him, but you know,
excellent.
So many good episodes.
Jake, I have done more Fanimated episodes than you. Ha ha ha! I win. All right, what are we talking about? What's going on?
Yes, just use that as a point of leverage. Yeah. Oh, that's so great. I'll have to. You know, what would be fun to get all 3 of you on Fanimated.
Ooh.
How crazy would that?
Oh, that would be so great.
And you guys could talk about Knight's Quest, obviously, but also then we'll have to find some sort of. Guys, this is all off the top of my head right now.
That would be incredible.
What if we did something Knight's Quest-esque? We'd have to find
my god,
that's like
this is probably I promise I'm not interrupting. This is relevant to that question. Yeah. This is probably going to come up in our question and answer episode that we're doing very, very soon. So this is like a little teaser of that. We have absolutely discussed doing Knight's Quest episodes with other people and like how that would work. We're still trying to. Nothing is concrete yet. We still need to get some.
Don't need to promise anything.
Exactly. There's definitely a lot of logistics we would need to figure out first, but we've definitely thought about it. Since recently, we've done a standalone episode where like it's totally separate from all the main stuff that's going on, and we just like did a little one-shot thing over here. So that is a format that could work super well if we're bringing on other people. So that's not exactly what you were talking about just now, but I figured it was worth mentioning. Yeah.
Yes, and if anything, like as a listener of Knight's Quest, I would love to hear even more voices and. Because obviously, I mean, you guys are great. Like,
oh man,
don't change. But also, like, hearing other people would be fun. Like, just keep it, mix it up a little. Would be
absolutely,
fun.
I agree. One time, my older brother messaged me, and he said, "I want you guys to do a live Knight's Quest episode with an audience, and the audience is just me. It's just one person sitting in the room." And laughing really loudly a lot.
That's
yeah. And I just thought that's the most amazing idea I've ever heard. Yeah.
Well, you'd have to have at least one extra seat so I could be there.
Oh, that'd be so great. Oh my goodness.
If you guys ever do a live show.
That's something that is pretty tricky to figure out how it would work and how we would set it up. We've thrown the idea around for sure. I'm not actually joking anymore. So we've definitely discussed it a little bit. Again, I can't promise anything right now.
Right,
but
of course, no.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, like, speaking of all the podcasting things, kind of the way we get to do kind of live shows is getting on panels for conventions. And so for us, like, that's kind of a cool way to like get the experience of a live audience or like live streaming things. That's kind of another way. Also, Josh Palmer just said, I love Knight's Quest in the comments as well. So
my goodness.
So for us, like we were able to kind of
Oh man.
do that live show that way. And I wonder though if there are some conventions, like more fantasy conventions, or I feel like board games, tabletop board games, and like D&D stuff is like it fits into a lot of convention themes. And so I wonder if there was a way you could do that at a convention or something.
Oh my goodness.
Then you kind of get people who are interested in you specifically, but also people who might not know you, and get to see what you guys are all about.
Oh my goodness, that would be awesome. Like any way of bringing the show to a bigger audience is very intriguing and also a little bit intimidating, but like
no, I understand that.
Yeah, that would be so cool. And speaking as someone who knows really nothing about how to make that work, I would love to say like, oh yeah, that's totally feasible, let's do it. And I know that is an option once we look into it a lot more, but unfortunately right now I'm pretty clueless. But
I mean,
yeah. Real quick, this is a really good point. Nathan just commented. The Nathan I was talking about is a totally different Nathan. Just to clarify that, not the Nathan that was just on this. Different Nathan.
Two different Nathans.
right.
In here in the podcast world. Just two though. There are no other Nathans.
Right. No. Thank you for making that distinction.
Yeah, that's a good call. Yeah. So anyways, Night's Quest is awesome. Everyone should listen to it. Jamie, I wanted to ask, what's your favorite? Just like, this is a good overview of everyone and like all the voices people hear on Fanimated. So if you were to name one title of a movie, TV show, or video game that you would classify as your favorite, if it is possible to choose a favorite.
Absolutely. Yeah. There are like a good chunk of like 4 or 5 that I feel like are the most important to me and the ones I love the most, but I've been thinking a lot about this, and it's got to just be Big Hero 6. Like that was the first thing I talked about on this show. And like while I was thinking over how I would answer that question, like that, I really just kept coming back to that because it was such an unexpected thing for me to not just find, oh, this is really cool, but also like the more I thought about it and I rewatched it a couple times, I started like, I feel like really understanding a deeper level. Oh, this sounds, I don't mean this to sound as pretentious as it does, but like a deeper level that I didn't notice the first time, you know?
Oh yeah, no, it doesn't sound pretentious.
About how the characters work, specifically like the hero-villain dynamic, which, I mean, the movie's called Big Hero 6. Like, it's a Marvel thing, so it's going to be about heroes. But it just put a spotlight on that in a way that I did not see coming at all. And that, in turn, led to so much more, like, emotional depth for me looking at the story. And that, I would just, if you want to hear a little bit more, just go listen to the episode that I was on from a couple years ago.
It's a second episode of Fanimated.
Yeah, way back. Yeah,
and it's one of my favorite episodes because truly, Jamie, because you have such a passion for Big Hero 6 and I didn't realize like how deep that movie actually is and like how many there are to be made, and you like opened my eyes to this new understanding of Big Hero 6. And like for me, that's kind of like why I made Fanimated, and like going into that a little bit, just like I want Fanimated to be a place where, like, you know, even if you don't like a movie, it is still created by people who really, really care and put a lot of time, effort, and talent into it. And for people out there, every single movie, every single, like, name that story is impactful to them. Like, it really is like, and so for Big Hero 6, to me, I was just like, this is a How to Train Your Dragon knockoff, whatever.
Yep.
But like with for you, I was like, oh, you completely changed my mind on Big Hero 6. Like, and I want to be able on this podcast to express those different views and those like perspectives, and to show that like, and just to talk about the things that we like. Like I don't necessarily like to think of Fanimated as a like animation review podcast, because like I would be the worst reviewer ever because I'm never going
Me
to say
too,
anything
for
super,
sure.
super negative. Like, I'm never going to pick a show that I don't like at all. Well, it's even if I don't like it, like we talked about the last Airbender, like live action film, but
Ooh,
Laura
yep.
loves it. So we talked about it because there's
Yeah.
someone out there that even loves the last Airbender live action.
Yeah.
You know, and not to say that Big Hero 6 is like the last Airbender equal. Not true. Not
Right,
what I'm
right.
trying to say. But basically, just like, let's geek out about the things that we love. And
Yeah.
so in that episode, the Big Hero 6 episode with you, Jamie, is like the epitome of that. And it was so much fun.
Oh man. Oh, thank you for saying that.
Oh, absolutely. It's the truth.
Yeah, that was really fun. That was really fun to record as well.
Mhm.
I had never really tried any sort of like, we're just going to talk about a topic and record it. I like hadn't really done that before so much, so I was very nervous, and I brought way too many notes. Like, so it's a little embarrassing to go back and listen to it for me because I was like really. I feel like I was really all over the place, and there was like there's so much stuff I wanted to talk about, but of course there's not enough time, and like, but I'm also really proud of it because I feel like that was a very honest extension of like, this is what I think is so cool about this thing out in the world, and like it's just like you were saying, like that's the whole point, and that's why we want to share it with people. So
absolutely, and like I love to talk about things that are like are amazing and great and like are changing the industry, but also I care more about like someone's personal connection to it. I 100% would rather listen to someone talk about how their own personal story connects to a movie or how they personally were able to connect with it than the, you know, rigmarole of this won an Oscar and this
right.
And it's like, okay. Heard that before, but yeah, so that's your favorite.
Definitely. Yep.
Hold that as your favorite. If you can answer this question, if you have an answer, and you don't need to have an answer, why do you love animation? What is it about animation that you love? That is, you know, why animation, as opposed to other forms of storytelling or other mediums?
Well, I was thinking of two possible answers for this, and Emma covered one of them really, really well, which is very, to put it a lot simpler and messier than she put it, which was fantastic. There is a feeling that you can do more. I don't know if it's literally concretely 100% true that you can do more, but it feels like the scope is broader for what's possible. Just not even just in terms of like setting and crazy fantastical places, but also there are emotions, and there are like just so many different things in film. Let's say for now, there are so many different things that either don't come across or can't come across quite the same way when you have real people. And basically, since humans have been making like film that has animated elements, we've found out that there's like all this other stuff you can do, even if the subject is just people in a pretty normal setting. There are like ideas and expressions and little moments you can notice that work so much better in that medium, you know? But the other thing that at least for me, is a lot more personal is it weirdly feels easier to relate to a character that is not just an actor in front of me wearing a costume and doing a voice. You know what I mean? Like, and again, I don't believe this is necessarily true for everyone, but like for me, watching live action movies, I mean, they're fantastic. They're like, the film industry is so cool, and there's tons of movies I love, but I don't immediately think like this character is in their own separate world and this whole story is its own thing.
Yes.
Because I know this actor and I know they're doing a job. And like with animation, obviously that is still the case. You still have real people working on everything, but your brain can get tricked a little bit. And like, I feel like it's a little bit easier to get lost in that world, and in a totally separate fiction, for lack of a better word. And I think there's something really cool about that.
100%. I totally agree. Like, that's one of the biggest reasons for me is it, and it seems so contradictory because it's like, how can this seem more real to you?
Yeah.
It's a drawing.
Yeah. Pretty much. That's a good
but for
way to put it.
whatever reason, my brain works the same way. My suspension of disbelief works better in animation because I'm not thinking, I don't know, name an actor, Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking this is Tom Hanks.
Right.
I'm thinking this is Woody.
Yeah.
I'm not, you can completely turn off that because it's not real, like, and you're not trying to make that connection. You can just be like, this is the not real reality. I don't know if that makes sense.
I think it does. I really think it does. There's something very special about that. Yeah, I don't really have much to add on.
I love that answer, and it's one of the reasons that I love animation so much too. Is for whatever reason I can just be like, yes, this is Hiccup, this is Toothless.
Yeah,
this is it. This is their world. I'm in it. So to end my time with you, Jamie, what is one thing that you've watched in the past year that has really stood out to you?
Yes. Favorite thing of this year is getting caught up on My Hero Academia season 4. Yes! It's just I don't think I have time at all, so I'm just gonna say it's real good, and I'm real happy, and I can't wait for season 5. What I'm watching right now is Infinity Train, and that is fascinating, and I have a lot to say about that, possibly at a later date. I'm not inviting myself onto the show, but I'm kind of inviting I'm kind of floating that idea out there. It's absolutely wild, and I'm really having a good time. It's very interesting. Yes, I cheated and gave you 2 answers instead of 1, but
that's great though. And it gives me another reminder. Keep bugging me about Infinity Train because I watched the whole first season and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then now there are like 2 other seasons. I'm like, what? I'm so behind.
Yeah.
This is what happens.
I'm close to the end of season 2. And I watched an episode literally earlier this afternoon, and it ended on such a huge cliffhanger, and I can't wait to get back to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man. So that's awesome. And we'll definitely have to catch up on that and see what happens. It's so crazy. It's such a unique world. That's another one of those things of like, you're just in this other world where this reality is happening, and there are infinite trains.
Right.
Train cars.
It's, you hear the title Infinity Train, and like your very first guess, even if it sounds silly, no, that is what the plot is. Yeah, it's a train that goes on forever. And that's the story. But they do such a good job with it, you guys.
Oh my
really,
gosh.
Again,
1-1
no time.
Is my everything.
Yeah. What's that?
1-1 is my everything.
Oh, I love 1-1.
This is great. We're all gonna die. That's it.
Oh man.
Well, JB, thanks so much for being a part of this podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
And here's to another 2 years going strong.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. This is such a fun show. I just recently listened to your guys' anime openings episode, and I just had a big smile on my face the whole time. I'm so glad you're doing this. This is a really fun idea.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Okay. Thanks for listening and watching, everybody. Bye.
Bye. Awesome. Okay. Thanks again, Jamie. It's just so fun to like see all my friends and like say hi to everybody. So next up we have the one, the only, the Josh Palmer. Josh Zapata Palmer is here, and here we are. Up, there he is.
Hello,
Josh. How are you?
I'm doing great, Kelly. I'm just so happy to be a part of this. I've been watching the stream, and it is like you just said. It's really fun to see everybody and say hi to the other friends. So I'm really happy to be here with you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you here. And thank you for being like just a huge part of this podcast and a huge part of my life. Like, just thank you for being you.
Well, shucks, thanks. I mean, it's my pleasure, really, because Kelly, you're such a special person to know. And so I'm the one who should be honored here to be your friend. So thank you. And I should say, like, I just can't stop smiling right now because I've been watching the stream and it's just making me so happy. And so I feel like I'm like hyper smiley, but
Good. That's how we demand everyone be. Hyper smiley.
Right.
No. Well, I think everyone needs hyper smiles.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Yeah.
We need them more than ever right now, and it's
Absolutely.
important. This has been a great escape for me to be able to be a part of this community. You know, talking about these films, and I don't know a lot of the anime films that you guys were just talking about because I don't watch as much anime, but I like don't mind hearing about them because, you know, you guys have such passion and joy for them, and I think that's what this is all about. So
yes. Well, thank you. And yeah, I try to keep the topics pretty diverse, like because like all animation is great, and yes, I talk a lot about anime, but also like we talk about The Incredibles and, you know, Disney stuff, and I want to get to. There are still some. I still go through and I'm like, there are still some studios I haven't talked about, and I'm like, oh gosh, it's been 2 years. Like, we only just did The Incredibles, and Pixar was on that list of like, I need to talk about Pixar.
Yeah, haven't done that one yet, and now we finally at least have one Pixar.
Yeah,
that's like my favorite studio that's influenced me probably the most. So yeah, it is really funny. But there's just so many. Like, you can never cover them all. You just have to like slowly chip away at the big old beast of animated media.
Right. So, you know, like I always say, my list is never ending, and I've always got something to watch and something to talk about on the show. So it just keeps going on and on and on.
Yeah.
Can you introduce yourself to those who may not know who you are or what you do?
Yeah, I can introduce myself. My name is Josh Zapata Palmer, or just Josh Palmer, as many know me as. I am a actor and director in film and theater around the Twin Cities area in Minnesota. I did lots of works in the theater, but that's all on hold. So I'm doing a lot of film stuff nowadays, directing things, and whether it's commercial or marketing or training, as well as like narrative fiction and documentary and stuff like that. So I have a lot of film stuff in my life now. And other than that, I teach theater and acting as well. But I also do a lot of work for children. Children's theater has always been my favorite. And so I love doing work with different children's theaters around the area, or performing for kids or with kids or about kids, or, you know, whatever. And I have a couple of shows that I do in that capacity. And yeah, so that's kind of a little bit about me. I'm married to a wonderful woman named Ashley, and she's the best part of my life. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. I live in the Twin Cities. Oh, I already said that. So yeah, that's me.
That's you in a nutshell. Absolutely. I'm so excited. I've been seeing snippets of things you've been working on, and recently I'm like, oh, got some more, you know, videos, more film stuff going on. I'm like, very fun, very cool. Yeah. You've been so busy that the last time I asked you to be on the show, you're like, sorry, but
yes,
too
I'm
cool.
sorry, I have a film shoot that day.
Oh, yeah, great. I'm so glad.
It's been weird because, like, COVID canceled like everything. And so there was a period where no one was doing anything, myself included, and we all just wanted to be doing stuff, or we were working or we were learning, or we were watching stuff, who knows? I don't have to talk about that. But there was a period when I feel like a lot of the theater people that I knew were like, let's innovate and do something different. And they tried, doing Zoom theater plays and readings and things. And then those kind of dropped off and stopped happening. And then it was just like all of a sudden in the past month or two, it was like boom, 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 like film for me just kind of erupted, which I'm very, very lucky in. I just feel like not everyone has that opportunity to be working, and so I feel really lucky, and I'm trying to use that to my best of my ability. Just
Absolutely.
Bring more goodness and joy to people who need it, because that's, I feel like, what my thing is about.
Yes, it is. And I mean, that's what we try to do on Fanimated too. Like, let's, just keep going, keep trucking along, and keep hopefully brightening up everyone's day a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, Josh, if you were to pick one, which is impossible, I know, but what is your favorite animated film or TV show or video game?
Man. Oh, I know. It's so hard. Such a tough question, Kelly.
I know. I just bring out all the tough questions.
I don't like picking favorites, and it's really tough because I feel like it's like seasonal for me. I go through different seasons of what things are inspiring to me. But if I look like historically, like if I were to take an analysis of the movies that have affected me and like how often I like them or how many times I talk about them, I would probably have to say that like Goofy Movie is my top.
Yes. Why? Tell us why.
Well, it's like I watched it like 1 billion times on VHS when I was growing up, and I know it backwards and forwards, and I can like put it on and anytime and just like relax, and it just watching some of those musical sequences just makes me so happy. Absolutely. Like everything else disappears when I listen to Max sing about how terrible high school is. And like, so I feel like that's because I just watched it a lot. There's a lot of just nostalgia and familiarity for me. But I also love it because I think I just related to it a lot, and there's some really good messaging in it, of like pushing through, and there's like this great father-son story, and there's like this coming of age thing that Max is dealing with, and it's just so funny.
Yes. It's still funny, and that's an old movie.
Yeah.
But it remains to be hilarious. That's awesome.
Yes, it really is. I'm just watching it again, like, I don't know, a couple weeks ago for who knows how many times. I watched it twice that one day because I was watching with a friend, and then I was like, I'm gonna watch it again.
Yeah, that's great. That's a good choice. And surprisingly, not the only time I've heard that as an answer, for sure. So you're not alone. All those Goofy Movie fans unite. Yes,
there's a lot of us out there. And I recently saw a t-shirt on Amazon that had the band
Powerline.
Powerline, geez. They were like, it had the main guy on his shirt and then all the tour dates on the back, and I was like, that's amazing.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah. Where'd you get that shirt? Oh, well, I obviously went to a Powerline concert.
Yeah, I was there. I saw Goofy.
Obviously.
It's so clever. I want to get one of those. I don't have a lot of merchandise from films and things, but that would be one that I would get. Absolutely.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I hate the fact that I had to pick one because like I could just go on and on about all my favorite ones. That's probably the one that has had the most impact on me.
Absolutely. Like I could say that, Your Name is like my favorite animated film, but How to Train Your Dragon is the one that has had the most impact on me. Yeah. So, and so it just remains in that spot, just nostalgic reasons, personal reasons. And those are the reasons that I care about the most anyway. So
yeah, and it's usually personal, and honestly, my memory is like so bad that I have to watch a lot of these movies multiple times to even remember them. And even then, when I sit and like try to think about like if I just try to recall things out of thin air from those, it doesn't work. My brain is such a like I have to be, connected, and like this connects to that, and therefore I can think of this. So I think, that's one of the reasons why I like that one so much, is because I've seen it so many times that it just like feels good.
Yeah, it's just like that nostalgic, just like a part of your memory. Yeah. So, well, if you're say another title that you've seen in the past year, would you be able to choose one that like really stuck out to you?
One, like a new one that I've seen in the past year?
It doesn't have to have come out in the past year, but one that you experienced for the first time in the past year.
That's a good question. I'm pretty sure it was in the last year, but I think it was maybe early 2019. So maybe not in the last 365 consecutive days, but last year, I'm pretty sure I watched Hilda for the first time. And that has like, I love it. I've watched the season. I think it's only still one season.
Yeah, the second one's coming eventually, but
yeah, and I've watched it several times, and it just is so clever and so beautiful. And I like when people ask me, what animated things do you like? That's usually the one that comes to mind because it's so visual in my head, and I picture it so well with like the crayon drawn edges and like the textures and just how clever it is. The concept with the little elves that you have to sign paperwork for.
Yes, like they're all about the legality of everything.
Oh my god, it's so funny.
Oh man.
All right, so that's probably one that I'd say really, really got me. I think
it's a good one.
I think that would probably be it. I mean, I could go on because there's others, but
there are always others. But yeah, Hilda. It feels like that. The very whimsical nature of it, and yet it's still serious. And like it's whimsical, but you take it seriously.
Yeah.
And like the characters are just so charming and clever, and it just has so
and
much
I love
heart.
The pacing. It's so good because I feel like a lot of American animated things are really fast.
Yeah.
And I like that too. I like fast things. I'm American, so I grew up with that. And but there's something about the way that it kind of is a little bit slower, and it, like it is a little more peaceful. I think because it's from the UK, and their style of education as well as their just basic pacing, I feel like is a lot more like peaceful and than our like competitive American tendencies. And that to me, I think is one of the reasons I love it too, because I can just watch it and just kind of enjoy the slow, dreamy, whimsical qualities.
Yes, absolutely. Both Nathan and Bryn just responded that they also really like Hilda. And Bryn said it's kind of like Ghibli. Yeah, I would agree. There are parts of Ghibli that like are that same kind of like peaceful, serene, like it's just like calming almost. Like even though like in Hilda there are some like pretty intense things sometimes. Like ultimately it's like watching it doesn't feel like the edge of your seat crazy. It's just like this is so peaceful.
Yeah. It's like I think I'm here to learn a lesson. I'm pretty sure that's why I'm here.
Yes. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
Well, Josh, with my last question, is there anything you've been watching recently that you would recommend?
I am going to use a game for this.
Great.
Because my wife and I have been playing a wonderful little game called Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time.
Okay, I've never heard of this. What is this about?
It is so adorable. So the concept is basically, in a world where love powers the universe, and we've found a way to harness love to create energy. Suddenly, there's a rift in space-time because one of the energy harvesting machines breaks, and anti-love escapes into the universe and starts consuming everything. And the like powers of anti-love like separate all of the like little people, and there's like all these little critters that are little aliens, and they're like teeny tiny little bunnies and little rabbits and little frogs, little people in like space helmets, and they just get scattered across the universe in all these different like constellations that you have to basically go to like track them down and like save them from anti-love. And it's so clever. Plus, the way that you play the game is you're like it's kind of an up and down, left and right scrolling.
Yeah.
And you are in a spaceship that's like in the center of the screen, and you can play with up to 4 players.
Oh, wow.
And you collaborate with it. So you have to work together to play. It's like almost impossible to play the game by yourself. You can, it's just like way harder. So with 2 people, like me and my wife, we argue our way through like where we're supposed to go. And the way you play it is basically on your little circle ship. There's a turret on like all 4, like north, south, east, and west. And then there's an engine that like kind of goes around the ship and pushes it around. And then there's little upgrades you can get to change your ship and stuff, but that's the basic model. And then there's a, like on the ship itself, you like walk around these little tunnels to get to control the turret. So you have to like stand over on this side, and then you can control the turret over here, but then you have to like walk through this little maze to get to the other side and then control the turret over here.
Okay, yeah.
So all these aliens come from everywhere, and you have to like, oh no, they're on this side. Get them, and then you gotta go over here. Get them on that side.
Go through the tunnels of the spaceship.
Yep. And so you have to work together because one person has to control the engine, like to drive you around. And then there's like a shield you can use, and then like a superpower weapon that you can only use sometimes. And it's so much fun because you have to like I said, the best thing is you have to work together. And so my wife and I are always, she usually plays the engine and I play the shield. Try to block all the bullets from hitting us. We play it on the Nintendo Switch. That's where we have it, but I think they have it on Steam. I think they probably have it on most platforms. So those of you who are watching who want to try it, it's probably available for you in whatever you're going to use, because it's a simple game. And oh my gosh, I love it. So
that sounds super fun. Yeah. Like a good have you played it with more than just one other person? Like, have you played
I played it with 3 people. I've never done 4.
Okay.
Did it with my brother and his wife once. And it gets a little bit more complicated because more people are like have their say in what you should do, because you have to describe, like, oh, we should go this way, we should go that way, and you have to work together, but only one person controls the engine. So that gets complicated, but it also gets easier because then you have multiple people on turrets or shields or whatever.
Right.
And then there's little upgrades you can get for every turret or whatever. And I think what I love about it is the style as well. It's like super cute, bright colors. And that's one of the things that I think I love about animation in general. Coming from like a film background, one of the things that you just can't do with film is like have such vibrancy of color that you can get with animation. And so like this game to me like really capitalizes on that and has all these bright fun colors and things. So
is there anything else about animation specifically, especially you're like a film writer and director and etc. That's like for you special about animation versus like even other forms of media?
Yeah, absolutely. I think my favorite thing about animation in general, and the reason I like it so much, besides just color because it's pretty, is a film is all about capturing time, right? So you have a camera and then you set it out somewhere, and you hit record, and then it takes whatever it sees, and then you watch it later. You're capturing a moment. Animation is not that. Animation is creating time from nothing. You draw stuff, and then it didn't have any motion. It didn't exist until you created it, and then you create time itself, to be watched and consumed. And I think that's phenomenal.
Yes, that's amazing. I've never thought about that in that way. But yes, animators are creating time. How mind-boggling. That's so cool. That's so cool.
That's what I love the most, because it's just, you just can't do that with film or with theater. And theater, I guess it kind of feels a little bit like that sometimes, because you like do all this rehearsal and then it feels like you're entering another universe. And film, of course, has that aspect too, because you're going into something else that has been captured. But that's, I think, the ultimate thing is like, you just aren't doing that with animation. You're like just making something from nothing. It's so cool.
Something from nothing. Exactly. It's insane. And so good. So thank you for always geeking out about animation with me, Josh.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me as usual. I'm looking forward to the rest of the following year, whatever we're going to do, and the other people that are going to be involved and the things that they want to talk about. I'm super pumped to hear other people's opinions too on their favorite things. So thank you for being a part of my life, Kelly. You honor me. Yes.
Thanks. Well, thanks for being on, and we'll talk to you on the podcast soon, I'm sure.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Bye. Oh, that's so great. As JV just said in chat, yes, Josh just casually dropped the most profound thing I've ever heard about media. So thank you again, Josh. Always good to hear your insights. And we're very close to the end of the stream here, but we still have a few more people to talk to. And it's the only people that I will talk about Disney princesses with. It is Laura and Kate, and hopefully Ferg.
Hi. We're lost, so we decided it's Fanimated After Dark.
Absolutely. Yes.
And we're ready. And
we've got a cheers.
Cheers, my love.
Cheers. 2 years.
2 years. Girl.
And Ferg is there, and I'm so glad.
He's got to be here. And he's in stealth mode.
He is.
Oh, yeah.
You don't know he's in all of our recordings. You just can't.
You just can't hear him. Because that's great. Well, how are you guys? It's so good to see you.
Ew, I think we're good.
I think we're fine.
Well,
yeah. It's great.
Good. Well, yeah, I wanted to do, as you've seen through the past a couple hours almost, just kind of an introduction on like who everyone is and, where we're all at. So can you introduce yourselves and what you do and all of that?
Okay. I'm Kate. Kelly and I met in college. And we lived together for a few years, and we became just the best of friends. And I'm so sad that she's in Iowa now. But my day job, I work in retail, and before COVID, doing any and all musical theater that I could. And unfortunately, that is gone away with COVID, and my soul is kind of aching for just being in a room singing with other people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love, anyone who's listened to the podcast knows that I just am obsessed with any and all things musical theater. And music is really where I come from, is kind of the angle that I watch and observe a lot of animation from. So that's a little bit about me.
Yeah.
My turn?
Yeah.
Your turn. Unless you want to introduce Ferg first.
Oh, this is Sir Fergus, Duke of Wellington, a.k.a. the Ferg. He has an Instagram at Fergus the Poodle. Follow him.
Super cute. Yeah, seriously.
He's great. And I'm Laura. Fanimated's resident soapbox carrying feminist.
Yes.
I'm a registered dietitian for a school district. I work in school nutrition. And I am also like a casual actress and theater person and film person. And I actually met Kelly and Kate doing a show. We were in a production of State Fair with each other. And Kate now lives with my husband and I, and it's just a fun
Three's Company all the time.
Three's Company party at our house all the time. And there's lots of animation and lots of theater and lots of singing. And Kelly comes to visit, and there's even more theater and animation and singing. So.
Yes, that's what I'm here for. You can almost say that I loved being in State Fair so much that I decided to move to Iowa for real.
You're playing that song too many times. The Iowa song. She's like, you know what?
I should really go back.
Oh, I know. All I know. Iowa.
That was a time that we had.
I will say, at least it means that when you come to see us, you bring baked goods.
It's true.
Yes, I bring a huge box of Dutch treats every time.
So good. And that's all we eat for the entire weekend. It's just baked. So much almond paste. It's not even funny.
So much almond paste. It's so good.
That's, it's great.
That's all you need. And, I was going to save this for when I saw you guys next, but I found the cutest. So there's a store in town that's like just pet store, but fun and cute. And they now sell little mini Dutch letters for dogs. And you bet I'm going to bring Ferg a Dutch letter.
Like, oh my God. Dutch letters? What? It's going to be fun.
They're made of like peanut butter or something. So
But
they're the cutest thing.
We'll make him a little Dutch hat out of paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can eat his Dutch letter.
I love it so much. Oh man. Ferg is my everything. So anyway, I thank you guys so much for like being my friends. Well, first of all, and also for being on the podcast and supporting the show. So yeah, like if going through the list of everything else that I've asked everyone, if you can choose a favorite animated movie or TV show or video game, what is your favorite?
We did an episode on it a long time ago, but it is and always will be Hunchback of Notre Dame. If you want to hear us talk about that more, you can go listen. If you scroll all the way through the archives, that is just has always been a really special film and a really special story to me. And like I said, I really connect with, at least with the Disney movies, I really connect with the music and how they use the music in storytelling. And I think that is such a underrated, beautiful example of weaving storytelling and music together. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Me?
Yes.
I'm gonna pick two. I think just nostalgic favorite that is one of my favorite movies ever is Pocahontas. I loved Pocahontas when I was little, and I still love watching it now. It's my favorite Disney. It's probably my favorite animated film. Very close to it, and I have to I can't even separate them because they're so different. I really have always loved Yellow Submarine, the Beatles movie from the 60s. I used to watch it as a little kid and just thought that it was extremely magical before I understood that it was an acid trip. I thought it was great.
Oh man, no, I have that on my list because of you. So it's there.
It's so beautiful. Like regardless of what you want to interpret it as, it's just a beautiful piece of animation and it's so fun. So I would say those two are my favorite, probably because I loved them as a child and they're I never grew out of them. They were things that I still like to watch now. I still watch both of those pretty regularly. So.
Yeah. Oh, good. Those are all good answers, definitely. So, what is it about animation to you that is like different and special compared to other forms of storytelling or other media that you consume?
I think for me, in regards to animation, I think there's just something about kind of the expansion of imagination that you can kind of display through animation, the world building. Listeners to the podcast will know that I recently watched Avatar: The Last Airbender for the first time. And I think that's a really wonderful example of, you know, how you can use animation to build this giant world. And I just think that, you know, it's such a special medium to tell story through, like I said, particularly through music. I think it's kind of a new way to, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but so I'm going off on a tangent here. Recently, we watched the Howard documentary that they released on Disney Plus. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's beautiful.
It's about
Howard Ashman, who was the lyricist for a lot of the Disney Renaissance movies in the 90s. So Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, Little Mermaid, and it's kind of about his story and his collaboration with the Disney company in making those films. And something that he kind of said in one of the parts of the films is that animation kind of was a new way to tell stories through music. And it, you know, musical theater at that time wasn't really the apex for that kind of storytelling. It was kind of shifting into animation. And so if I'm like coherently getting my thoughts across, which I don't know that I am, that's kind of what I love about animation, and marrying that music to it, is that you can kind of use that for a whole new way of storytelling and communicating that. I'm sorry for
that. No, that makes total sense. Absolutely. And I love that. And there is something unique and special about the animated musical as a genre, for sure. So what about you, Laura?
I would say that, I mean, what I've always loved about animation, and Kelly and I we don't really talk about it on the podcast as much, but sort of offline, I watch a lot of live action stuff. I'm not as crazy about animation. I love animation, but I consume a lot of live action film as well, and TV shows. And so from that perspective, Kelly and I talk a lot about CGI and animation as part of just the filmmaking process, especially now. And I think my favorite part of animation is that it has taken, you know, films have always been something that you're supposed to step into another world, but it gives you this extra tool for storytelling. Kate mentioned world building, and just think of like, what would, you know, some of my favorite films, which I love fantasy and sci-fi and worlds that don't exist on Earth.
Yeah.
You know, what would the Lord of the Rings have been like? The reason we got the Lord of the Rings was because of computer animation, right? And so it isn't bound by your creativity for the story you want to tell, isn't bound by what you can create on Earth with physical things. You can use animation to create what is ever in your mind. Yeah. And I love that as like fully animated pieces. And I love that as animation as part of other films and other entertainment. It's taken, you know, the human imagination and given it a way to be limitless.
Absolutely. And, you know, most of the films we see nowadays, live action or otherwise, are truly animated films.
We're seeing that, I think, in our last podcast, that basically every movie you watch is an animated film.
Absolutely. Just there's so much CGI, but it's, you know, not necessarily a bad thing, and definitely, like you said, like opens up, you know, we would not have like Tenet in theaters right now. We would not have that if we didn't have CGI. Like how you can tell stories is completely changed with what we can do with animation. Yeah. All right. So within the past year, what is something that you've seen or played that has stuck out to you?
For me, it was Avatar.
Yeah.
I finally finished it not that long ago, and I am just kind of embarrassed that I was sleeping on it for so long.
You're not alone.
The characters were so well written, and the story, like, it was just so beautiful. The world building was great. I really enjoyed it. It was so fun. I wish there was more than 3 seasons because I just kind of want to keep going.
You'll have to start watching Korra.
I know. I haven't watched Korra yet.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely watch Korra. We just released an episode on that. And I loved it much more the second time around. So what about you, Laura? What's something you've watched?
So it was not this last calendar year, but it was within the last year.
All right. Yeah, no, that's fine.
It wasn't in 2020. It was in 2019.
Well, that counts because we're kind of talking, you know.
It was Frozen 2. I mean, the release of Frozen 2.
Yes.
Of course. That was, there you go. We're your Disney girls, right? Like, what could be more exciting in the last year than the release of Frozen 2?
Oh my goodness. And speaking of, like, Raya and the Last Dragon is like gonna be the newer Disney princess, but it's been delayed, of course. Yay. So we were supposed to get that this end of this year, but that of course has been pushed back to who knows when. So bummer. But at least we can watch Frozen 2 over and over and over again. How many times have you guys watched Frozen 2 since it came out?
I think I've only watched it like twice, 2 or 3 times. 3 times. 3 times. Because we saw it in theaters together, and then I think we watched it right when it came on Disney Plus, and then we watched it with you. I haven't watched it since we watched it with you for the podcast.
Have you say we, you mean.
Have you seen it more
I've
than
watched
me?
it like 9 times.
Oh, no.
Okay, and it's kind of like, it's not like I'm going to sit down and watch this. It's after I've watched it a bunch of times, it'll be like, I'll play it while I'm putting on my makeup, or I'll play it while I'm cooking or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'll fast forward to, I mean, when you break down like watching chunks of it, you know, how I can't even, because I'll like, oh, I really want to watch the scene, and I thought this about this one thing, and I want to watch it again and see if I still like that. And it's just a thing to put on.
Yeah.
It's a great thing to put on.
Right.
Great. Awesome. And the final question, what have you been watching recently that you'd recommend? Or is it mostly just still been Star Trek?
Okay, I have several things. Kate's gonna go first. I finished Next Gen, so that's done. But anyway, Kate, keep going.
So I think the one that is kind of on our minds since we watched it a couple days ago, controversies aside, we watched the new Mulan.
Yes.
And we really enjoyed it. I'm sorry if anyone is offended by that, but we did, and it was fun. And
you're not gonna get through anything Fanimated with Laura without our feminist soapbox coming out. The only people who have not gotten it are freaking men. Okay, everyone that like guys that I've talked to, they're like, it wasn't good. The dragon wasn't there. It wasn't funny. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Is it a story about a woman finding her power through not having to choose between being powerful and being a woman, and that just wasn't entertaining for you? I'm sorry. There wasn't a funny dragon to make funny dad jokes so that you could ignore the woman of the story. Like, there wasn't a funny animal. Like, oh, sorry. God. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I loved it. So everyone go watch it immediately. It was so good.
Or you can watch it, I think, in December when they get rid of that paywall.
Or December.
If you're mad about the paywall.
No. Yeah, because I personally, I'm going to wait until December because I would be spending $30 on just me watching it. And that's a bit more than I'm willing to spend when I usually am like, it's groceries for a week. Well, not bad, but you know.
You could justify it because there's 3 of us in the house, and we'd be.
And if we had gone to see it in the theater, we would have spent that money. So
exactly
our justification.
Yeah, I think it's a great call for like, you know, a group. And it's interesting because I keep hearing so many negative things about it, but like when I talk to people in person, they're like, it was so good. And I'm like, who is reviewing this?
From this, and like Fanimated world, prepare yourself. You know, we're going to record a Mulan episode.
For sure.
I love the animated Mulan. Like, I love, if Pocahontas is my favorite, but Mulan is a close second because I just love me my power Mulan. But they like they kept so many of the. I sent Kelly this big like all capital letter text about it.
It was so good.
It's so good. It's like I love the way that they changed the story. They added another like perspective of a strong female story, which was really interesting. They changed up the role of certain characters to balance out some gender dynamics, which I really, really appreciated. I mean, it was Disneyfied in the same way that the Aladdin one was, that it's like the colors are extra vibrant and bright and everything is really clean. For some reason, being a powerful woman means being able to fight with your hair down. And I was like, girl, like at least a half hair. Like get your bangs out of your face.
Throw it up. Get it out of your face.
You got to pull it back a little bit.
Right.
Other than that, I mean, I loved the updates to the story.
Yeah.
I thought the acting was great. The score, similar to the Cinderella score, where they drew in a lot of the, because the music was so beautiful. And they drew in and they had certain like lyrics from songs that they didn't include. The song that it would say a lyric.
Oh, that's so cool.
So it was just like, I really, really loved it as like, I went, again, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of when people are like, oh, the Star Wars movies were bad. And what I'm like, so we got to go back and revisit the world of Mulan. Like, why are you upset about it? And we got to see like Mulan and I don't know. It was great.
Yeah.
Great.
That's so good to hear. Yeah.
And some really, I think, like disappointing live action remakes. Lion King. Recently that, I don't really like The Jungle Book. And this one I feel like reminded me of when I saw Cinderella. Their remake. I thought it was so well done.
Yeah.
And it was like, like this is good. This is good.
Okay. Yeah. That makes me even more excited, especially since Cinderella remains my favorite live action Disney movie.
I think this one's gonna give it a run for its money with you, Kelly.
Well, I am very interested to see it and see if that holds up to Cinderella. Cinderella was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was 5 years ago.
Okay, gotcha. We are not recording a podcast about the live action Mulan, so I will stop. But here's the thing: I think it's just as well done, and I think that as a 21st century woman, the story of Mulan is it lands better. Cinderella was fun in a fantasy way, but like,
All right, I'm very excited, and I'm excited to record with you guys about the original animated Mulan. And we will also talk about the live action over there too.
I have a few other things I've been watching. Not the time. Kate, you've been watching other stuff or no?
Not animated. I recommended this to you, Kelly. Umbrella Academy.
Yes, it's on my watch list.
So good. What else? Oh, I've been watching through the Harry Potter movies again. They exist.
Animation
Animation is there, yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Man, I haven't rewatched the Harry Potter movies in a long time. I think I'd be just like, well, yeah, they exist. That's about
they're fun. I just I'm not nearly as invested as I thought I might be rewatching them, but it's good. You know what? For anything that you could say about the Harry Potter series, whether you like it, whether you don't like it, Gary Oldman is fantastic.
Oh, you know what? Okay, this is random. Because this ties into something I've been watching, which I am so sorry. The animated world. This has nothing to do with animation at all. I've been watching Cobra Kai.
Yes, it's so good.
It's all I hear about is Cobra Kai, but I don't know anything about Karate Kid.
Oh, it's so great! Like I can't stop watching. I'm almost done with season 2.
It's the best.
But like rewatching Harry Potter. When we were young and they were coming out, we were the same age as the actors. Like there's a difference between reading Harry Potter and knowing that it's a kid. And this is also kind of animation because we talked about this with Avatar, that like an animated child is not the same as watching a child on the screen. Like you have a little bit more leeway, right?
Yeah.
They can act a little bit more like an adult without it being weird.
Right.
With Harry Potter, when you go back and watch the movies compared to reading the books, like you are very much so reminded that these are little children. And it's a little bit harder to like feel as excited about like with them and what they're doing, but then you suddenly pay much more attention to the adults. Like, so watching Cobra Kai, Kate and I were like, "Oh God, I think we're officially old," because there's all these like really young 20-somethings that are playing teenagers that are like, yes, they're all very muscular and cute,
And we're
but
just
we're
like,
Ralph Macchio's like really hot dad. Like,
I don't know the name of the other actor that plays Johnny, but we're just like,
Johnny
do
Lawrence.
we love the hot dad?
And so I feel like Harry Potter's the same way, that when you rewatch those movies, like the main part of them is those kids, and you're like, okay, Harry Potter's a little kid and his acting's okay. And then you're like, let's go back to Snape. Like,
look at Alan Rickman's more. And
I
that
don't know more about him.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
So Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai.
I have been watching slowly but surely, Kelly. You will be proud. I am still watching Cowboy Bebop.
Yes.
Let it be known to the world, Laura is watching an anime. I am not an anime girl. Very hard. Garrett is upstairs. Garrett is, I mean, you should probably talk to him instead of me, because in the past like 3 weeks, he has rewatched everything in the Dragon Ball world and he's watching Inuyasha right now. And I'm like,
good.
But I'm watching Cowboy Bebop, which I love because it's like, I feel, I don't know how to even describe it. I can't believe you haven't watched it, Kelly.
It's on my list. It's on my list.
You have to. Okay, I don't know if it'll be the type of thing that you like, but it's it's like a bridge for me, right? It bridges my aesthetic,
right?
Anime, and it's like Guardians of the Galaxy anime. I mean, I don't even know. It's like, you know, space cowboys in anime, and great music and action and wait, what's my aesthetic again?
Oh,
this is a joke.
What is it? Implied
sexuality and stylized violence. If Laura was a content warning, that's what my content warning would be. Like Cowboy Bebop. So I really like that, and I would be interested if any of your other regular guests have watched it and what they think.
Yeah, I'll have to see, because it's only been on my list and I've heard lots of good things. Obviously, it's like one of those that's just like classic, but I've never, for whatever reason, haven't watched it yet. So, well,
my friend who pitched it to me described it as like one of the things that like showed that anime was for adults, that like anime was something that could be consumed by adults.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, I'll have to give it a try.
And yes, I finished Next Gen, and now I'm also rewatching the original series, which it doesn't hold up to Next Gen in my opinion.
Oh. I did put Star Trek on my watch list too, but now you guys have said 5 million things.
Yeah.
Which one?
We'll have another come to Minnesota weekend, and we'll just eat food and watch TV.
Always a good time.
Well, it does look like both Brent and Janie have watched Cowboy Bebop, and they are praising it. So yes, Cowboy Bebop is loved. I definitely now that September celebration is almost over, I'm gonna have more time to watch things. So that'll be good. So maybe I'll get around to watching Cowboy Bebop or one of the other many wonderful things that are available.
Star Trek.
See, what puts me off sometimes is that the first episode is like a movie, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to watch like a whole hour and a half long episode.
Oh,
it's worth it.
It's worth it.
All right.
As soon as you get to like episode 9 or 10 of the first, it's just like, this is just television gold.
Oh, that's great.
Bad acting and crazy. It's good bad acting. Kelly, just watch it.
Okay. I'll watch it.
I would be interested and or like Star Trek, and Next Gen is just so fun.
So
follows funny Star Trek memes on Facebook now.
Only to send to make you laugh.
They're all Riker jokes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will watch it, Kelly.
I'm sorry if this is Fanimated After Dark, and since we're talking about Star Trek, Laura had said I was like, I'm not a Star Trek fan. She's like, you're a Trekkie. You made a Klingon sex joke. You're a Trekkie.
You guys.
I'm not a Trekkie, and I'm like, scroll back to this text message. When you involve Klingons and dirty jokes, you're a Trekkie.
So things I never thought I would say.
Oh, that's so brilliant.
Sorry that we always ruin your family time podcast.
Yeah, you make it hard. I have to edit all sorts of stuff. No, it's fine.
Without even
There's so much
knowing that we're
swearing,
cursing.
Fanimated world, like our podcasts, you get lots of content from everyone else, but I feel like ours are the hardest because you have to like veil all of the swearing. Like, oh, they're making a really good point, but she said the F-bomb like 50 times in this sentence.
Sorry.
But you still love us, so thanks.
You
I
keep
do. I still love you. You're still great.
Who knew that Frozen inspired so many different uses of the F word?
Only with you guys. Oh, but you're great, and that's I love having you on the show, truly. And I can't wait to, we've got so many things to talk about. So before we end the stream, there's one more thing that was on my agenda, and that is to pull names for the winners of our giveaway.
Ooh.
So
We're excited.
for the few people that are still left with us, the anticipation's waning. So basically, the giveaway was for an inked illustration by me of your favorite character, your favorite animated character, and then I'll even include our Fanimated sticker from last year. Ooh,
I have
cool.
one.
You do. And then our new Fanimated sticker. You have them both. Stay tuned and stay animated. And the only other way you can get this sticker right now is by becoming a patron on Patreon for the $5 tier or more, and I'll send you one for free. But you get all of those things if you're a winner of the giveaway. And I originally said in the post that there would be 3 winners, so I guess I've got to keep to that, even though I'm like, oh, wait, I have to draw 3 illustrations. That's okay. So, are we ready to hear the names of the winners? Okay, our first winner is Absolute Faith, which is Emma, our very own Emma Martin. All right. Who's next? It is Duran_Leandra 1969. That's the Leandra who introduced me to Romeo and Juliet, the anime. So she deserves it. Thank you, Leandra. And number 3, our winner is... Okay, Mr. Warmy731. You are a winner. Yay! Okay, I'll be messaging the winners and asking for what you'd like me to draw. So thank you, everybody. It's just like a little way, just the smallest way for me to say thank you to listeners for listening and being here and being part of the Fanimated community. So like I'm just so flabbergasted at everyone who is a part of the podcast and supports the podcast and listens to the podcast and sends me nice emails, and I just appreciate all of you.
You're pretty great yourself, Kelly.
We love you.
Aw, thank you. I appreciate that.
Happy New Year.
Love. Okay, well, I think that's it for me. This has been Fanimated, a 2nd anniversary celebration. Woo. And Ferg is looking especially dapper this evening.
Always. He's like, I'm gonna make another bad joke. We took off his collar because it's Fanimated After Dark, so he's like naked.
Oh man, you did great.
Sorry.
All right. Well, thanks you guys for joining me. This has been a blast.
Thanks for having us. It was fun to hear everyone.
And if you'll help me sign off, I'll say the first part, and you two can say the last part because you're together. You'll be in sync. Are you ready to be in sync? We're never in sync.
Yes.
Okay. So thank you everybody for joining us. And stay tuned
And stay animated.
All right. Have a good night, guys.